The Green Party's been gearing up to win Brighton Pavilion for a couple of years now.
You're going to Sunny Hills Avenue and Heston Avenue, and there's a map on the back here.
In recent months, every Saturday, supporters from across the country have mixed with dedicated locals to spread the word. And that word is not just the environment. 2 years ago, the party abandoned its alternative structure to go mainstream, electing Caroline Lucas as their party leader in England and Wales. With her came mainstream policies too on jobs and the economy.
Hello, very sorry to disturb you. I'm Caroline Lucas from the Green Party.
And though as a lone MP she's unlikely to ever implement them, she's adamant a Green vote is not a wasted vote.
Well, it clearly isn't a wasted vote, certainly not in places like Brighton, in Norwich, in London, Lewisham. Those are places where we can get Greens elected. And the fact that we haven't had experience of high office, frankly, in today's political situation is not necessarily a disadvantage. What we are motivated by is principle. What we have is commitment. What we have is experience in local councils, European Parliament, London Assembly. I think it's high time that Greens were in Westminster.
Ironically, a decade in the European Parliament makes Caroline Lucas the career politician in this four-way fight in the constituency. At the last election, the Greens a close third to the Tories. The Green Party clearly sees Brighton Pavilion as their best chance yet of getting their first ever MP elected to Westminster. They base that on their success here in local government, where with Labour, they're the second largest party on Brighton and Hove City Council, behind the Conservatives, with 13 councillors. The tourists on Brighton's beach come here as much for the seaside as they do for the city's alternative reputation. The lanes, the eclectic heart of a more laid-back way of living. But most voters are to be found in the huge swathe of strictly conventional streets that run right back to the South Downs. Those voters switched to Labour in 1997. The current MP is now standing down, the new Labour candidate tasked with defending a majority of just over 5,000. In an almost all-woman fight, the only man standing for election is from UKIP. Labour is courting the female vote. Deputy Leader Harriet Harman invited to meet local women.
This is Nikki.
The message to those in the constituency disillusioned with politics: a Green vote will let the Tories in.
It's hugely high risk if people vote for the Greens as some kind of tactical vote. People have got to understand that if you want a Labour government, you need to vote Labour. People aren't stupid, and they know that if they vote for a Green MP, there's a huge risk that they're going to end up with a Tory MP in Brighton Pavilion and a Tory government.
The seat is number 135 on the Conservatives' target list. A win here would be a sign of an overall majority at Westminster. And they too recognise they have a genuine fight with the Greens as well as with Labour and the Liberal Democrats.
Saturday, all the volunteers come from all over the country and sort of swamp Brighton Pavilion. But I would say, from what I'm seeing, they're looking for a sort of a policy-free victory. We need to hear more about actually what they're hoping to do in realistic terms and how they would pay for it.
It's difficult. I think the Greens appeal to a certain type of voter. Across this constituency there are many different types of people, and I think that just being a single-issue party could be a weakness for them, especially when people are thinking about the economy.
On the economy, Green policy nationally is at odds with the other parties. They want spending, not cuts, a £44 billion investment package to create jobs.
I think it's something that would go down really well in Brighton, yeah. I don't know if it's something I would personally be voting for, but I think it's the kind of area that it would be very well received.
Would you be happy to see a Green MP?
Yes, I would.
I've got nothing against the Green policies, but I think they often take the easy option and go for things that people believe in and want to do, but I don't think they're heavyweight enough to tackle real issues.
The Greens already have 2 MPs in the Scottish Parliament, and Brighton Pavilion is not the only Westminster seat they're contesting, but it is the one where they put in most of their effort in a bid to create electoral history.
Julian Rush on the campaign trail with the Greens in Brighton. And of course you can find out much more about the election on our website, including analysis of all the main parties and all the latest opinion polls and of course all the tax breaks.